Thank you for joining us for this JMC webinar. JMC's experts share how to ease state reporting and grading. It's September 4th, 2024. My name is Paul Freed. I'm the lead trainer at JMC. We've worked with JMC for 20 years here in Southeast Minnesota. I'm joined by some great experts here. We've got with us Rachel Cox. Rachel, where are you from? And tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I am from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. I coach high school girls swimming, so I'm in the thick of a swimming season right now, really busy. I've been with the JMC training team for about 1.5 years, and I'm happy to be here today.
Thanks, Rachel. And we've got with us Jake Van Scoy. Jake, tell us a little about yourself.
How's it going, Paul? Thank you. My name is Jake Van Scoy. I'm an Eastern Iowa guy. Have taught and been in schools my entire life, taught high school English for 11 years at a small school in Northeast Iowa. Did some instructional coaching for about 6 and joined JMC a few years back as part of the training team.
Great. And we have one of our great client service specialists, Linda Hill. Linda, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Linda Hill, and I live in the northern Brainerd Lakes area, and it's a beautiful day today. And I have been with JMC for about 1.5 years, but I've worked with JMC in the past.
Great. Thanks, Linda. Let's get right into it. What's your school's biggest struggle? For many, it's a toss-up between state reporting and grading. That's why JMC provides the tools, team, and training to streamline these complex tasks. Today, you'll hear about our state reporting modules designed for snag-free data submissions directly from our EdFi experts, Greg Appleby and Rachel Cox. And Greg's running a little behind, so he might join us a little bit, or it might just be Rachel and our team. We'll then hand the tour over to JMC's grading gurus, Jake Van Scoy, and yours truly, Paul Freed, who will walk you through our flexible standards-based gradebook options designed to save you time and propel students forward. It's error-free state reporting and crystal clear grading are at the top of your list. We'll show you how JMC can support schools just like yours. If you have any questions, hold until the Q&A chat feature. You can just type them in, and we'll get to them as they come around. Always on top of state reporting requirements. We want to give you a head start on state reporting submissions. At JMC, we stay on top of the latest reporting requirements to ensure successful data submissions. In fact, we are consistently the first SIS to achieve EdFi certification in Minnesota each year, and the first to help Iowa private schools report data on education savings accounts. So, Rachel, you've worked a lot with Minnesota state reporting in particular. What are some of the submissions that you've been working on to help our clients submit data smoothly?
One thing that was kind of new this year that streamlined that EdFi submission is that JMC is now entering schools' client key and secrets. So when you go into your EdFi settings and you turn on that conduit to send your data, the information is there for you, just taking away one more step of having to go to the Department of Ed and get that information for yourself. JMC is doing that for you and just streamlining that process.
And we're also doing Minnesota, what we call a DAM reporting. Is that correct?
Yep, Direct Admissions Minnesota.
And what does that do?
So with Direct Admissions Minnesota, it is an easy way for students to select schools that they might be interested in applying to. And then their information is sent automatically to the Minnesota Office of Higher Ed, and the students find out if they would be eligible applicants for that school. So a student knows that they would get a yes from a school before ever sending in the application. So saving a little bit of time and a little bit of money on the student side.
Great. Nebraska, Iowa, and Wisconsin schools partner with their Department of Education to ensure they have the tools needed for success. For 43 years, JMC has supported this partnership by providing efficient tools for sharing student data. And so, Greg couldn't join us today, but he works in Nebraska. And so all those Nebraska schools working with the folks at the Nebraska Department of Ed for that error-free EdFi reporting is what we shoot for. We have those Nebraska work days if you're a Nebraska school where schools can show up and get their questions answered with the Nebraska Department of Ed. We typically don't have a lot of JMC clients show up for that because you get service as you go. You don't need to wait for those work days. When you have a question, reach out to the JMC tech support team. Jake, you're in the great state of Iowa. Who do you work with there at the Department of Ed to help streamline those data submissions?
We work quite a bit with Rachel Cruz with the Iowa Department of Ed, and also Connor Hood. As far as state reporting in Iowa goes, we help schools get their data in the shape and form that the state is asking for. And then we also facilitate some partnerships with Iowa Fast and Achieve and things like that for special education reporting and formative assessment system reporting as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And in the great state of Wisconsin, where I'm right across the border, we hired a former DPI official, Jeff Post. And so he is now part of our programming team and really helps to streamline all the Wisconsin DPI EdFi reporting tools there as well. So what is the biggest challenge your district has when it comes to state reporting requirements? We encourage you to think about this with your team and to reflect on that. And if you're saying, hey, there might be an easier way, we want to look at an SIS that makes it easier to do state reporting, reach out to us. We can kind of compare what you're doing now and how that would work in JMC. Also, we have state reporting training options every year. This is one of the things that I'm very proud of, and Jake Van Scoy is our head of training, and he leads a great team for this as well. Data submissions can be a doozy. Lean on our state reporting experts to ensure that yours go off without a hitch, starting with a YouTube playlist that breaks down the latest data requirements so you don't miss a beat or a deadline. Now, Rachel, we've expanded now. We have 2 state reporting trainings in all 4 of the states that we do state reporting. Can you tell us what they are and kind of what the difference is?
Absolutely. So for each state, we start with a state reporting roundup. So this year's is the 24-25 state reporting roundup. You'll find one for Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota. That's kind of your bread and butter. That's where you want to start to get that whole state reporting process going. And you were just talking a minute ago about the departments of ed. We did have representatives from the departments of ed on those webinars. So if you kind of scroll ahead, you can look at the chapters in those webinars and see when we're hearing from the Department of Ed, and they offer some great information on those webinars as well. So that's the first thing are those roundups. And then we have a what's new in each state. So we kind of hit the highlights of what you need to know, what's changed from the previous year, and how you achieve those tasks in JMC. And again, I think with those, we had Department of Ed experts for most of those webinars, if not all of them.
And we do those every year, free of charge. You can log on, be part of a live participant so you can ask questions or watch the recording afterwards. From setting your data up for success to working through errors, the playlist covers all you need to nail state reporting requirements. You can actually, if you're watching this, you can download from the description on this YouTube playlist the Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, or Wisconsin state reporting slide deck, and you can see how we lay out state reporting here as well. And so, Rachel, what do you think? I mean, it's hard for folks to attend these live. What percentage of people do you think attend live these presentations, and what percentage watch them later? And then also, what percentage of people do you think come back and then reference that to maybe if they have a state reporting question?
I mean, with the state reporting roundups, we see a lot of people signing up, registering for these webinars. It totally depends on the day, what schools get going, but I would say for the state reporting, we get maybe 30 to 50% of the people who sign up attend live. And the other 50% then wait for us to email them a link to that webinar when the webinar has concluded. And like you said, in the webinar description, you can get a PDF version of all the slides so you can walk through it. So I do think many people go back either to the webinar or to the PDF of those slides so that they have those step-by-step instructions for completing those fall state reporting steps.
You know, and that brings up kind of my last comment on that. Thank you, Rachel. That, you know, people will sometimes reach out to us as individuals. Hey, Rachel, can I get Minnesota state reporting training for my new person? Or, hey, Jake, we've got a new person in Iowa doing state reporting, you know. And I always tell folks, the days are gone when one person can train everything that a state is requiring for state reporting, right? It's a team. Now, you might have a person at your school who's managing that, but they're also managing those tasks at different times throughout the year. But lots of times, it's even in our smaller school districts, it's a little bit of a team, right? The main office person is doing the majority of the data entry, whereas maybe the principal is helping doing the errors or the course submissions or whatever, right? And so this way, our team plus the Department of Education team can help your team with these great resources. So I just think it's helpful to know that it's a team of people training you, whether it's in person with the webinars or through the YouTube videos as well. What is the annual state reporting training process you currently engage in with your SIS? Does your team feel prepared for the school year? And so super important to be able to ask this question again, right? State reporting is always updating from year to year? Does your team feel like they're getting that up-to-date training? If not, talk to JMC. We can talk about what our process is to make sure that you are fully trained to start the school year. And that's not to say that, of course, you still need training from the Department of Ed themselves, right? If you're a Minnesota school and you're new to state reporting, you sure got to still attend the Minnesota Department of Ed trainings, but our trainings complement them, right? We're the tool by which you get data to the state, whatever state it is. You want to still understand from your Department of Ed, why are we sending this data? What is the data? What's being used for? That's what they tell you. What's needed? That's what they tell you. Ones that do, that's what they tell you. We provide the tools to get that data there. All right, let's take a live look at some of JMC's state reporting features and resources. I'm going to do just a couple. We've got a lot of people from different states here, but this is my my Iowa database here. You'll notice in any state that we have there's just the state's name there. Under Iowa, there's SRI, state IDs, importing LIEP, all that information is listed right there for Iowa. If I go to my next state here, which is Minnesota, we've got a tab here called Minnesota. There's more data submissions in Minnesota. So we've got your MARS submission, everybody's favorite Minnesota Common Course Catalog, Perkins, STAR, Early Education, all that information is listed right there. Here's our EdFi setup for the great state of Minnesota. You click on those items, it's going to take you to where you need to go. So if I click, for example, on MCCC, here's where I put my calendar in. Here's my course index file. Here's my staff file and student file. We make it easy to find those things right inside JMC. Let's keep on heading over here to my Nebraska school. Where are we looking? Under the Nebraska item here. Here's where I get my state IDs. Here's my advisor reporting, my enrollment history and program history and special education history. What do I have to do at year end? Click on that year end item. It's going to walk me through the steps, all the different tabs I need to do my year end. That's listed there. And very similarly here in our, in Wisconsin as well. Wisconsin's laid out that similarly as well. Let's just hop in there. I apologize. I didn't have it up here. There we go. Here's my Wisconsin demo one. I'll hop in there. There we go. You're going to see that Wisconsin on the left-hand side. There we go. Here under Wisconsin. Here's where I get my WISE ID, my WISE data. If I click on WISE data, here's the start year submission, during the year submission, end of year submission, updating students by grade level. It's not hard to do right inside JMC. We name the pages what they are. It makes it easier to find there as well. Additionally, we've got our in-program help with the widget where you can come in here and search our help center to see any articles you want on specific topics. So if I wanted to do something on Minnesota Dam, for example, I type in, I think just DAM, let's see. I click here. Oh, let's try it again. I know we got something. What are the articles named there, Rachel?
Direct admissions, try that.
That's right, direct. Gotta be smarter than me. Admissions. I've got my, there we go. Here's integrate with direct admissions in Minnesota, right? Set eligible colleges for direct admissions, Minnesota and JMC student. That's the same thing that we can do there as well. If I wanted to look up something for maybe my Wisconsin, I'll just type actually in Wisconsin and see what I have for my Wisconsin ones. Here we go. Understanding Wisconsin reportable discipline. Understanding Wisconsin learning modalities, right? We've got lots of information in there for you. So really great tools and to use, and lots of great supporting tools there as well. Great. Thanks, Rachel, for taking the lead on that. Linda, do we have any questions or should we keep on rolling?
You don't have any questions.
All right, let's keep on rolling. JMC's grading options. Whether you're using a traditional grading system or experimenting with competency-based grading, JMC has the flexible gradebook and course grading reporting options you need to track and promote student progress. Learn how JMC can ease the grading process, including how to build a standards-based report card with the help of our forms team, giving families and students a clear breakdown of performance and expectations. So first, we're going to talk about reporting A through F grades in JMC Teacher. JMC offers your district a number of options for generating course grades and reporting student progress to stakeholders in JMC Teacher. Track student progress during the term according to your teaching philosophy by utilizing the traditional points and percentages or seamlessly integrating with a third-party learning management system. Whichever option works best for your school staff, your team can easily send course grades to the office to print report cards. Now, Jake, do you briefly want to talk about just points and percentages, right? We do that in JMC pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I kind of break schools of thought as far as instruction and grading practices into kind of two buckets. A traditional points and percentages system where, you have assignments, you have categories, you score student work based on points, and you generate a course grade from there. And the second part, that the second bucket would be our competency-based portion, or our standard-based portion. And we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But yeah, whether your teachers are used to using Google Classroom, for example, and giving students feedback on scores and assignments through Google Classroom, will easily integrate with Google Classroom, Schoology, just about any external grade book you can think of, to get those scores into JMC, so we can generate your course grade report cards at the end of the term.
Okay, that's great. That goes into our next item here, which is report cards and transcripts. After teachers send course grades to the office at the end of the term, office professionals have a variety of reports at their disposal, inform students, families, colleges, and future employers of student academic performance with these course grade reporting features in JMC Office. So, Jake, what are some of the reports that you see that admins will use, or office professionals, to either track student progress and things like that?
Oh, so course grades, end of term course grades have been around in education for a long time. And, initially the things that pop in my brain are transcripts for end of, after school, after secondary school, post-secondary opportunities. But then even during the term, we've got progress reports, you've got midterm reports, you've got, reports based on students' scores. So, families that want to keep up on where students are during the term have the option to view all sorts of reports based on assignment scores, missing work, and things of that nature.
GPAs, honor rolls. We do a great in-progress DNF report as well. Can sort that by activity to know who's academically ineligible as well. So those are really helpful there. So does your teaching staff and administrative team feel that your current SIS eases the burden of end-of-term grading reporting? And that's an important one, right? The end of term can always seem a little stressful, but we try to make it as easy as possible. One thing to note is that we will do a training for your teachers before the school year starts. Typically it's in person, but for some states, we do it remotely. Either way, they get a trainer who knows the JMC teacher to walk your folks through that traditional points and percentages, or that standards-based grading, to make sure you're comfortable to start the school year and get you head in the right direction. And then, of course, we've got support to help you along the way. All right, let's take a look at JMC's traditional gradebook. I'll make it pretty darn easy and pretty darn quick here. Here's the JMC teacher. It's probably your first time seeing it. I'll make it just a little bit bigger here. Under scores, be able to come in here to categories and assignments. We can grade using weights. We can grade using total points, whichever we want there. And as we score students here, very similar to probably the SIS you're using right now. So the transition for teachers would not be that hard. Students' names on the left-hand side, assignments at the top. We generate an overall grade automatically. It's an auto save screen. So every time I put a score in here, you don't have to hit the save button. Every score saves automatically, generates the overall score here. At the end of the term, teachers just come here to edit course grades. They review the overall grade that students are going to have. They can add in any comment that they want to have, and then they send the grades to the office for this particular class. They do that for each class. Very easy to do at the end of the term. Grades are automatically accepted into JMC Office. So it's really easy to be able to do that there as well. Okay. Linda, any questions? I don't see any, so I think we can keep on going. Is that right?
No questions.
That's right. Thanks, Linda. Standards-based grading for all PK grade 12 educators. JMC's teacher competency-based grading module offers a comprehensive solution for implementing competency-based grading and providing formative feedback to students. It enables teachers to create assessment areas aligned with standards, track student progress through tagged formative assessments, and define multiple assessment proficiencies with assigned colors and abbreviations. So Jake, can you tell us a little bit why teachers should think about doing standards-based grading through the JMC competency-based grading gradebook?
Absolutely. So Paul knows this is where I get excited about grading. And this is one of the things that I appreciate about JMC so much, is their ability over time to innovate grading practices. And, for many, many years, we've relied on student information systems to help us through the process of automating grading. And systems have done points and percentages for quite a while. And as schools of thought have changed centered around implementing research-based best practices in education, so have the need for new tools to help track that. And teachers that are on the cutting edge of implementing those research-based best practices need something more to be able to track student progress throughout the term. So whether you're turning this into an end of term course grade for a report card that goes on a transcript like you would in a high school, or lower elementary folks that are tracking student progress towards some foundational skills, for example. Teachers have needed these tools to keep track of where students are throughout the year. And that's kind of why I'm the most excited about these innovations in particular.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. We also have these customizable tools for your teaching staff. The module allows for easy customization, including proficiency scale definition, assessment area addition, and formative assessment creation. Teachers can utilize the full suite of tools without tying the results back to summative grades, empowering them to offer valuable feedback to support student learning. So you actually have the option to either tie them to summative grade or not, or tie them back to a benchmark. And so I'm just going to jump into JMC Teacher right here. So I'm back in the JMC Teacher. And again, this is brand new for you, so it's probably looking a little bit different. Maybe you don't even have like a standards-based grading module in your current SAS, but in JMC, we call it competency-based grading. And teachers can come in, they can set up a custom grading scale here. They can also import it from the office if you've got something that you want to use in your entire district. And they can come and say, hey, this formative assessment forms letters correctly. I'm going to assess that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 times throughout the term. Let's say we're doing 3. And I'm going to assess it. I'm going to take, of the 3 times I assess, I'm going to take the highest score. Maybe I'm going to take the most recent score. Maybe I'm taking the decaying average, which is Marzano's item there, where you put in maybe like an 80% here. It takes 80% of the most recent score and generally takes 20% of the previous scores that they have that's listed there. But I know a lot of teachers, when they start dipping their toe, they do the highest score option. Once a kid's got it, they got it. So then when they come in here and they score those formative assessments for a student here, oh, actually let's score all of our students here. Again, student's name on the left-hand side, got them listed across the top. As soon as a student gets that green here, it's taking that most recent score. So for example, this student had a red, let's say I change it to a orange here. It's gonna give them an orange, which is a 2 for this particular student, because it's taking that most recent score. No averaging whatsoever. So if the student got a E or exceeds here, now they've got a green that's listed there. So it's a really powerful tool, assessing multiple times. We're taking the highest score, and that is what's either being just reported here, or it can be reported summatively on a report card, or as a class assignment there as well. So really powerful tools and a lot of flexibility. The thing I tell teachers is that you can start it today. If you've got JMC Teacher, you can start today. You don't need to wait to have a district-wide policy. You can kind of dip your toe in it. So are educators able to incorporate a variety of standards-based grading assessment options to meet their assessment philosophies at your school? Again, something to discuss. Talk with your teaching staff. Sit down like, hey, is our current SIS meeting our needs? Is there room for growth? And we'd sure love to tell you about what JMC can offer your teachers with these standards-based or competency-based grading options. So we already took a look at JMC's competency grading options, so we'll just kind of keep on going. I kind of got excited. Jake gets me excited there as well. So Linda, any questions, or can I keep on going?
You can keep on going, no questions.
And I know this is the first time for lots of folks, so they might not even know what to ask. End of term standards-based report card creation. So set out on your path to end of term standards-based reporting by creating standards-based report cards in JMC. Your standards-based report card allows your teachers to use JMC's gradebook options and share proficiency results at the end of the term with the office, families, and students. With JMC, you can easily build a report card worthy of hanging on the refrigerator. During the creation process, you'll establish the look and feel of your report card and communicate your content and formatting needs to the JMC Forms team so they can help set your vision into action. So Jake, can you briefly just tell us kind of what that process looks like for new schools?
Yeah, absolutely. So you would work with our forms team to design the look and feel of your report card. So, what types of pieces would you like on it, for anything from attendance to your school's crest and logo and mission statement, and anything that's going to beautify the product. And then you've got your school's priority standards. So One of those best practices is, in a standards, if you're looking at academic standards, you might see a lot of educationese in there. And one of those best practices is to boil your standards down to student-friendly learning targets. So rather than pulling from a database of standards, we are actually using the language that you want to use with your families. So you would decide what items you would want on your report card as far as your reportable standards or your priority standards. We'll get those on the report card form for you and have those available for your teachers by that first grading period. So
great, thanks, Jake.
Yep.
Throughout the report card creation process, you'll review your standards-based report card with your district team, collect consolidated feedback, and submit to the JMC form teams for final round of revisions. We want to look and reflect on how great your teaching staff are communicating with their students and their families. Does your elementary school currently use customizable standards-based report cards? If so, who created them for your educators? And again, we stress we team up with you to help you create them. We honestly do most of the heavy lifting, probably 80 to 90% of the work, because we know it's a lot to get ready for the start of the school year. And then schools can help maintain them year after year once they get comfortable with JMC. So I'm just going to take a live look real quick at the JMC teacher side of the customizable report cards, just to kind of give you a brief look at what it looks like. For JMC teachers, they come in here and they're going to edit a report card for a student. They come in, here's my kid listed right here. Here's the form, here's the grade level. I just choose the term. I'm doing quarter one. And when I do that, I got these little red triangles here and I can just go down the list and give a kid each whatever assessment or score or grade, whatever you want to call it, you want them to have. And I can go from one student to the next. Really nice looking. I don't have a logo on here, but we can have your school's logo. Attendance appears on there automatically. The grading key. We can do a comments area, right? Lots of different things available for your teachers. And it's all very professional looking, all stored in the office. So there's no Google Docs or any of that other kind of stuff there as well. And by, when you join JMC, you get to look at your report cards that you might have been using the last few years and have them communicate what you want to communicate to families. All right. Linda, any questions before we wrap this one up?
I don't see any questions.
Great. Well, are you ready for a JMC information session just for you? We'd love the opportunity to meet your team. Schedule a time with a JMC sales team member to dive deeper into all things JMC. In 45 minutes, we will first connect with the people we value most, which is you. And we always ask folks, how's it going with your current SS? What do you like? What don't you like? And we really get into that. That's really the most important part to hear, like what's working, what's not working, because we want to make sure that we meet your need. Second, we'll introduce you to who we are and why we do what we do. And then we'll showcase what we offer and whom. And that's where we get into that showing off, hey, here's the 5 things you're interested in. Let's look at those things and take a live look. So send us an email at sales@jmcinc.com today to set up a time connect. So on behalf of myself and Rachel and Jake and Linda, thanks for your time today. And we hope to hear from you soon.